Hey artists, what are your likes and dislikes and what's in your bag? Let everyone know along with a self-portrait and hashtag that Meet the Artist on YouTube and Instagram. Greetings people of the internet, I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground lair where usually we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. But today we're not going to do that because we're going to be drawing a picture of myself. Unless I am a robot, but you would need a void comp test to prove that. Anyway, so we're gonna do a self-portrait today as part of the hashtag Meet the Artist. You've probably heard of it, it's been going around for a while and I'm finally getting around to doing that myself. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use, but as usual, you can use whatever supplies you want. But if you wanna do it like I'm doing it, you've got to get a, what is this? Prismacolor Color Erase, is it navy blue? No, indigo blue pencil, a Kuretake number 13 fountain brush pen, an X-Acto knife, some spongy double-sided tape. You're also going to need markers. These are Copics, but I use a variety of alcohol-based markers. I've got, let's see, some cardstock or Bristol paper, and this is a 12 by 12 piece of blue cardstock. So that's what I'm going to use today. If you're curious where to find this stuff, I will leave affiliate Amazon links in the description so you can check that out. Without any further ado, let's get to it. I'm finally getting around to doing this Meet the Artist hashtag, which is pretty popular on Instagram, and it's been going on for a while, but like I said, I'm finally getting the chance to do it myself. So it's basically, you let everyone know what your likes and dislikes, you put that on there, you put who you are, kind of what you do, you can put your height, you can put your age, all that stuff. But yeah, likes, dislikes, and then usually you let people know what's in your bag. Now, as a guy, a lot of people I think a lot of people are talking about purses if they're women, but I do have like a messenger bag that has my art supplies, so that's what I'm putting down on this one. So you just use whatever your own quirky art style is, and I'm doing this traditionally. I like to work traditionally, especially in markers, so I'm getting a chance to work in some marker again, as you can see. Now, this technique that I'm using the marker before I actually use the ink, so it can look a little creepy in the beginning, and I do that just to avoid smudging and stuff. Now, the markers I use do a pretty good, or the pens I use, the ink does a pretty good job of not smudging, but still I tend to just lay the markers down, and hopefully if all goes well, once I start adding the ink afterwards, it'll work. And my green, of course I gotta do my signature lab coat, but my green's kind of running low, but I'll keep going over it, and I've got some other ones and hopefully it'll look good. But and everything will pop a little more when I do add those outlines, as you can see. But so you got kind of the cartoony version of myself and my lab coat. I've got the t-shirt I've got is a Nerd Alert t-shirt, which is a design that I did, which I've got on some bags and things like that, but I don't actually have t-shirts yet. Now maybe by the time you're watching this there will be some t-shirts on my site, I don't know, but it's a cool design, I like it, so I decided to make a t-shirt of it, at least for the drawing, and then later I'll actually have some physical t-shirts. But some things in my bag, I've got comic books that I use just to read or for reference that I carry around. I've got my camera that I use to take videos, I've got my moleskin, and this actually is my little messenger bag. And I do sell these on my website. I have a couple different styles and designs. But this one in particular is the one I like. It's got little pockets for pens and things like that. You can see my bottle of ink down below that. This is my little pencil pouch. I've got my X-Acto knife, which you'll see later as we start cutting these shapes out. I've got my iPhone with my headphones, and what else we got? Some stuff out of picture. In my hand I've got my pencils and my digital stylus, because I do digital work as well. I just like to work traditionally, so that's what I'm going to do this, and I thought I would look better traditionally. What else? I've got down below, I don't know if you can see it, well there's some Copic markers, I use those, or Copics. I always say Copics, but I think most people pronounce it Copics. That right there by my feet is a little camera arm that I bring around with me if I'm doing a sketch out in the world, and then I've got to set up, put my iPhone up just to record some drawings I do. So it's a little portable arm, and it twists around and everything, and it fits nicely in the bag. And then I've got some extra just pens and things like that. So yeah, that's as you can see now, I'm kind of going in and outlining that stuff with my pen, and of course I've got You can see I've got my chucks. I always wear my chucks, and it's pretty much regulation here in the lab that you wear tennis shoes. Otherwise, if I do get out, and if it's summertime, maybe I'll wear flip-flops, but I'm usually wearing Chuck Taylor Converse All-Stars. And next, I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to cut out the shapes, pop it off my blue paper with some double-sided spongy tape, and I'm going to use a white Sino gel pen. I forgot to mention that in the intro, but I will leave that in the description to kind of make it look like a blueprint. So as far as my likes and dislikes, so for likes I've got mad science. I love mad science. I love to draw things centered around mad science, as you might tell if you've watched this channel. Comics, I love comics, but specifically indie comics. I'm a big fan of like mini comics, comics that people put together themselves, not necessarily the big, big 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, but I like indie comics. Robots, I love robots. I love drawing robots. I love watching movies about robots or robots fighting, giant robots. So I put licorice down. Now, it's not like licorice. I gotta have licorice. It's my favorite thing. But it's one of those things that a lot of people you either do like or don't like, and I do like it, so I put that down. Pop culture trivia. I love pop culture trivia. I love trivia about like 80s music and movies and things like that. As far as drinks, like cocktails, I like rum and cokes. Food. My favorite food is I love all kinds of food. Probably Mexican food, but I put sushi down just because I don't get a chance to have it that much, so I'm really craving it. Star Wars, I love Star Wars. The Muppets, I love Muppets. And as far as negatives, laziness, spec work. I don't like to do spec work or stuff for free or work for exposure. Food I don't like, cottage cheese, Alpha Sprouts. I'm not a big fan of beer. I'm not a big fan of wine. I don't really like fast food. And cold weather, and jerks. Not a big fan of jerks or people who act like jerks. So, yeah, that's me. Now you've met me. So yeah, hashtag this. Do your own. Hashtag it on Instagram and YouTube, and we'll see you guys later. That is all. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit Serkworks.com for all your mad science supply needs. And if you want to contact me, hit me up in the comments section or follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.